Hey everybody, welcome back to what are we on part three now? First off, I want to apologize. I had hoped to have this whole thing recorded and out by this point. It's Friday, October 17th now. Uh, I'm just going to try to get through the rest of this all in one instead of breaking it up into smaller pieces. And I'm going to try to follow it up with some things that will help you every day, things to be aware of, things to look for. But this is, I'm going to try to get through the rest of this, the six parts of combat profiling. Uh, to be honest with you, this training was never designed to be given in this format. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. Uh, I can't share a lot of the video, and I don't have the tools or the equipment here to really do it justice. Um, but if I can give at least one or some of you enough of this information that it helps you in the coming days and months, um, then I think it's worth it it's worth all the frustration. That and I've just been a little under the weather this week. None of it's made it easy. But anyway, so here we are. Last episode we started into this talking about talking about the the things that you already know, that you've got, that your mind, your subconscious, has made, call it what you want, file folders or templates or whatever it is. But you've seen it before in some way, shape or form. You've seen these things before, and it leads you to an informed conclusion as to what it is that you are what it is that you're looking at. Okay. And we saw the image of the man with the map out in the middle of nowhere, and it's pretty obvious. But it works in all kinds of situations. Your mind, your subconscious has already developed a lot of that. Um, I've said this at the beginning. I'll say it again. Trust your instincts, whether you want to call it instincts or sixth sense or spidey senses, whatever it is you want to call it. Trust them, trust them, because your mind has done this before. We as a race of beings on this planet, we've done it before. We've been through this. So trust those. It's hardwired. Okay, let me share my screen here. All right, so the next of the thing is kinesics. Okay, you've heard this one before. You've heard it as body language. Okay, and it is this is a little bit. You've got to be a good actor to pull this off, but it can absolutely be done to fake these things. But somebody who's not a professional actor and hasn't practiced it, their body is going to give away clues as to what their mind is going through or trying to convey. Okay, uh, it's learned. It's just part of what you are. It could be a mixture of all your whole body, and especially facial expressions. We're going to look at. If you look at each of these guys, these facial expressions, yeah, you know exactly what's going through their mind. You know what you know what their conscious is saying, and absolutely sometimes what their subconscious is telling you as well. These are very exaggerated faces, but Think about this. Those of you with children, or those of you who work in fields where you interact with children a lot, teachers, healthcare, uh, you guys are going to see you guys are going to see children's facial expressions really betray what's going on behind those eyeballs. And it's going to be important for you to clue in on those. They're going to potentially lead you down a path of investigation to discover what is bothering uh, this child. But it applies all across the board to individuals. You're going to it's going to clue you in. So when we talk about nonverbal communications, uh, there are there are things that, again, your body language, their body language is going to betray exactly what is going on, regardless of what they say. Same words, different messages, depending on what their reaction is to it. Uh, in poker, body language matters. Absolutely, it does. It's one of those things that you got to go back to the normal. What is abnormal? And if this is somebody that you have dealt with multiple times in the past, uh, their body language is going to betray when they are not likely telling the truth, or not telling the whole truth, because you're going to be able to see the differences in their body language versus what you know as normal for them. It's also going to help you with people that you don't know, that you haven't dealt with before, because they're going through the same process subconsciously as you. They're trying to portray something, but they don't know your posture, your body language. So there's likely going to be things that are going to stand out to you. So pay attention to those cues. And again, we're going to go back to culture. Remember what I said. I do not subscribe to the theory of race when it comes to the human race. We're all one race. However, there are, uh, regardless of the color of your skin or whatever outwardly appearance, the culture that you come from, there are going to be things that are ingrained into you that are normal to you, might not be normal to us. So it's important for all of us to understand those. Uh, and when I say cultures, I'm not just talking about an Asian culture or an African or a Middle Eastern culture. I'm talking about uh, the culture of gamers and the gang culture and a whole slew of things. Those are little mini societies that have their own culture, and we have to be aware of that, uh, how that culture impacts how they present themselves. Because some cultures, looking at what you see across your screen here, some of those cultures, whereas we see the OK sign and the little I love you heart and a thumbs up, in other cultures, those are very, call it toxic or insulting, uh, gestures. Okay. You got to be aware of where somebody comes from, the culture somebody comes from, so that you can understand whether or not something like this is going to be offensive to them or not. Next thing is biometrics. And this is the one that is almost impossible to control. This is where fooling the lie detector comes in. Okay, fooling the polygraph. Polygraphs detect physiological reactions, automatic reactions to a potentially negative stimulus is kind of along the same lines of what we teach interdiction officers who are going after gun runners or drug dealers, human traffickers on the street on a traffic stop. This takes it to a whole new level, uh, the training that we're doing here, but it's very similar. Uh, what we're trying to do is see nonverbal, non-kinesic reactions, or biological reactions to a stressful situation, is what we're talking about here. And we mentioned Aldrich Ames, who was very, very good at it because he had to train and practice in order to defeat these things. But uh, the automatic adrenaline dump, histamines in your bloodstream, pupil dilation or constriction, the sweating, yes, those all do come into play when somebody is unnaturally stressed for some reason. So here we go again. The polygraph machine, yes, it's looking for certain clues, certain uh, biological changes, physiological changes when you are attempting to lie. Uh, some people can get some people can fool the machine, but it is difficult. So pay attention to those biological things that somebody can't control. The sweating, the pupil dilation. It may be nervous glances. It may be looking at exits. It may simply be somebody's knee, just their foot bouncing up and down because they're nervous. Uh, Next thing is proxemics. Okay, and this is culture and family is really going to play in a lot when we talk about proxemics. But it's a spatial relationship between an individual, one individual, and another individual or individuals. Okay, we betray our affiliations based on how close we get to somebody else, or we allow somebody else to get to us. And it again, culture and relationships absolutely play into this, but it can also come into play during certain events, during certain things that are going on around us that are going to change that. We're going to look at that here. So, intimate space on the left. You can infer some things by somebody that you allow into your, or do you observe somebody allowing into their intimate space, meaning there's some sort of a relationship likely there. Uh, Whether it's between a male and a female or same sex, it really doesn't matter. But they're, at least in America, we allow into into that personal space, that intimate space, uh, people that we trust for one reason or another, and that we are very close with. The personal space, social space, 4 to 12 feet. Uh, you can tell how people are interacting with each other, and it's a critical clue. It really is a critical clue as to what the relationships are between those people that they're allowing into the space, and the bigger context of what's going on within the bigger public space around them. Uh, I've used this one quite frequently. The man around the woman on the bench. Uh, it's easy to infer that there is some sort of a relationship there. It may be brother sister, maybe girlfriend boyfriend, uh, husband wife, who knows? But at a glance, you can infer that there is some sort of a known and close relationship. Whereas, oops, sorry. Whereas here, this is what I was talking about, given the context of a larger situation, uh, there's a lot of people on the street. Do they all know each other? Likely not. However, they're all kind of, in each other's personal space because really they don't have any choice but to. So you're looking at context and you're looking at clues within what you expect to be normal. Um, in this situation, we're looking at a crowd of people moving in multiple directions up and down this street. So we expect people to have violations of personal space and likely be okay with that. However, when you see somebody who is forcing a gap, or the crowd itself forces a gap around an individual or individuals, there's your clue to something is off, something is abnormal. Okay. And it's up to you to interpret these signs and signals of what's going on, so that you can hopefully spot a problem before it becomes a problem for you. And then in this case, you're looking at likely it's a concert. That personal space is really going to be, we're going to be into each other's intimate space in this situation. Okay, so the things that are normal in another place, uh, you know, not not violating somebody else's personal space or intimate space, is going to change based on the context. And this becomes the normal for this particular event, this particular context. You're looking for changes in that context so that you can identify a potential problem. Okay, so geographics. This is one of the ways that we use to describe this as human terrain. Uh, and it's going to be how humans move through this terrain. Think about if you look at a map, okay? It's map's got a bunch of roads on it. You can see if you got a topographic map, you can see where the natural terrain features are in it. The mountains, the hills, the cliffs, the rivers. Uh, so that map, really gives you an idea of how people are going to move, how volumes of people are going to flow through a particular area, right? Well, this is scaled down to be it a shopping center or a mall or whatever the facility is that you're looking at. People are going to move in specific ways depending on the way that place was built. Okay. We talk about natural lines of drift. Uh, we'll see that with exits and uh, how people get from one space to another space. Uh, it may be how garbage cans are laid out, or where sitting areas are, or where we have planted trees and landscaping to make a nice, pretty area that people are going to naturally drift around. This all plays into geographics. Uh, and people who are familiar are going to move a little bit differently than persons who are unfamiliar with an area are going to move. So when we talk about a mall, okay, they're all, everything's pretty well laid out. You know how people are going to move from there's everything's laid out linearly per floor. People are going to move from one store to the next. And from one level to the next, movements are going to be by escalator, elevator, or stairs. You don't expect to see somebody jumping over jumping over the rail, the glass rail, as you see here. Uh, you don't expect to see somebody moving rapidly, running through here, pushing people over. Those are things that are abnormal. Those are things that are going to stand out to you. The normal is going to be the usual motion along natural, predictable areas of movement. Now, and this is going to be a little bit different. The geographics here are it's going to be likely a much more possibly chaotic scene on the inside. There's going to be if they've got dining facilities in there, there's going to be certain lines of movement between one area and another. Um, Time is going to change how the human terrain looks in this particular facility because that's just the nature of what it is and the types of people that are likely going to be in there. And then back here again, okay, this is a very concentrated 100,000 plus people into one small geographic area. And the lines of drift are going to be confined in great deal by how the walkways are set up, how the ramps to various levels are set up and located. Uh, the human terrain is going to move in certain directions at certain times. Beginning of the game versus the end of the game, obviously, is going to be two massive flows in opposite directions. Throughout the game, there's going to be a natural drift along the sidelines as to how the play is unfolding. Uh, the areas that are going to be busy during the game are going to be the restrooms and the refreshment areas. And that's all going to start tapering off the closer you get to the end of the game. So understanding how the context of the area that you're in, how people normally are going to move through it, and how time and context are going to affect those movements are critical to understanding uh, the whole and understanding what is going to be normal in this particular situation so that you can better identify the abnormalities. And then we go back to this. Again, geographics. Culture is going to play into geographics. It's going to be this same thing here in the United States is going to be looked at very differently than it would be in another part of the world where this is their law enforcement. This is their local militia who is keeping the peace and keeping these people safe. It's all understanding the culture that you're looking at and is going to be uh, also a big part of understanding the geographics and understanding what that how people are going to move and what those movements actually mean. Atmospherics. Okay, this is the feel. Um, you're going to know it when, let's say, and I hate to keep going back to the game, but let's go to the game. Whatever your favorite team is, whatever the sport is, if you go into a bar that is your team's bar and your team is winning, you know what that whole atmosphere is going to feel and sound like. You know how that crowd is going to be reacting, uh, especially if you're winning. But if you go into your opponent's bar and they're winning, it's going to feel the same, won't it? It'll feel very much the same unless you go in there wearing your team's clothes. So when they're winning, you're going to you're in a bar for the team that's winning. Things are going to feel a certain way, very likely. Um, let's take this another step further. It's a Tuesday morning, and you're stepping out the door to go to work. Okay, regardless of what time of day. Let's just say it's 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, most people work daytime jobs. So about 7, you're going to be getting ready to work or you're taking the kids to school. You walk out your front door. What is the atmosphere that you expect to see or hear or feel? Okay. Um, you know what neighbors are going to be leaving at around the same time you do. You know who's going to be getting in a car. You know where the mailman is likely going to be by that point, dropping off mail, or the newspaper guy. You know who's going to be moving. You know what sounds to expect. You know how things are going to typically play out because they always do. On a weekday, things kind of play out the same way. Families are getting ready to go, getting ready, kids off to school, the bus, all those things are going to happen every day. That's the normal. You know what vehicles are going to be moving. You know what people are going to be moving. So those are things that are normal to you. That helps you to pick out the abnormal. Is somebody there who isn't normally there? Is there a new vehicle in the neighborhood? Is there a vehicle that just it sounds different? Whatever the case may be, you got to pick out the things that are abnormal. You got to know the normal to pick out the abnormal. So again, we go back to this. You know what? When Texas A&M is winning, we know what that crowd's going to sound like. If we're losing, yeah, it's going to be a whole different sound. We know what it sounds like when we got the ball versus when they've got the ball. If anybody knows anything about Aggie Land, you'll know that. Uh, you know what? Again, we're winning, losing. You can kind of tell by the attitude and the atmosphere of the crowd. And this is for those of you who are not from the Bryan College Station area, this is a place that years and years ago was a gang hotbed in our area. And you knew what, I'll use this as an example. I've got two examples of atmospherics for you here, personal examples. This complex and another complex, very heavily infested, a lot of drug narcotic activity. This is many, many years ago. Uh, when there was a shooting at the other complex, and we expected some kind of retaliation at this complex, typically a Friday night, about 7 o'clock at night during the summertime, kids are out of school, people are home from work, they're outside barbecuing, kids are playing. You expect certain things to be going on. Well, 7 o'clock Friday night during the summer, just after a shooting, and the place is a ghost town. Doors are closed, kids are inside, there's not a sound, there's no vehicles moving, and it's just tumbleweeds blowing through the place. Obvious, okay, there's a big change in the atmosphere. You know something is up. Uh, on one of my tours in Baghdad, there was uh, we had a great interpreter working with us, and we're pulling into this town, and I'm hearing the call to prayer. Happens 7 times a day, whatever it is. I can't remember. But I hear the call to prayer, but the prayers, it sounds different to me this time. And I ask our interpreter, "Hey, what are they saying this time? Something sounds different." And and there's nobody in the street. All the kids are gone. All the doors are closed. There's nobody walking. No kids. No movement. Place is just quiet as a ghost town. And he tells me, "Hey, they're saying the Americans are here. Come kill the Americans." Okay. that gives us an idea of what's going on. So it's changes in the atmosphere. Sometimes it's things that you might hear, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's just that general sense of unease, where you expect something and you're not seeing it, or you're seeing something that something's there that you didn't expect to see, something that's new. Pay attention to those, okay? And again, I want you to understand these. You don't have to know the definitions or scientific names of anything. You just need to know how to best articulate what it is that you're seeing. So we're going to look at some protests. And if you look at the protest, you look at the signs, you look at the people who are in it, you're going to expect certain types of people, certain attitudes generally towards law enforcement, towards the general public, so on and so forth. Uh, Looking at this one, comparing and contrasting the two, um, understand who might be, if somebody's looking out of place at either one of these protests, they're not looking like the normal. That's your first clue that there might be a potential threat, somebody who at very least bears further looking at. And then down here, again, this is understand the culture of uh, the group that you're looking at, their ideological mindset, so you can understand what's likely going to be out of place amongst that group. Um, this might be out of place amongst that group. But by the same token, they're going to be out of place within this group, in and around this group. We really work on teaching this to law enforcement so that you can key on those indicators of potential trouble for a group that you're trying to let protest, whatever their protest is, do it safely. Same thing here, and same thing here. These are uh, understanding the mindset of the people who are protesting, who are part of this, is going to help you understand who's as likely going to be allied with them and who's going to be a problem if they appear at or around these events. So, a couple of things. What else could we be looking at? The interactions again between a man and a woman, and particularly once you understand them and what's normal for them, understanding what is out of the ordinary. This could be a lot of uh, there could be a lot of things going on here. Um, but you're looking at the level of intensity on each side. Uh, doesn't matter whether they're husband and wife, doesn't matter whether they're coworkers. Uh, as things as the tone of voice changes, as the level of volume increases, that's when you should start, in the back of your mind thinking, okay, this is something is escalating here. Don't know what's escalating, but the tension is escalating. And as the tension escalates, you get into uh, the finger pointing, the shoving, the screaming, and it's likely going to devolve. So when should I, as a teacher, as a uh, as a parent, as a concerned citizen, when do I need to step in and break this up? Do I let it get to fisticuffs, or is there a way for me to intervene uh, when it's a little bit more appropriate before it gets to that point? Again, you're going to need to be able to, if you have to act, you're going to have to be able to articulate to law enforcement uh, why it is you believe what you believed, and so that you can justify if you have to act. But we also talk about, whether it's teenagers, not wanting to listen, parents getting frustrated, parents fighting, and they're the kids sense all that. They're smart, y'all. If you are a teacher, and a lot of this is because of what I do and what I've done over the years. I do a lot of this for schools and for staff and teachers. So I really try to focus on kids, understanding when something's going on, when a child that you're responsible for, that you're teaching, when things start to change with them, uh, understanding what might be behind it and uh, when is it appropriate? When do we get administration involved? Let's start having some conversations. There may be something going on at home here. Um, Sometimes there's not much you're going to be able to do except for document that there are changes. But those are things that are going to help administration, help law enforcement later on if it proceeds, beyond that, if it doesn't resolve, and there's going to have to be an intervention of some sort. We have a documented pattern of uh, how this child had, or how this child had their interactions, everything that we talked about before, how things have changed with them. Okay. So this guy, I've got a couple of here I really haven't refreshed my memory on. This is, if I remember correctly, Robert Card. He was Maine National Guard, and he went on an active shooter spree. The reason I bring him up, though, just like a lot of others, all the signs were there, but nobody acted. Nobody could articulate why action was needed. He was military. His supervisors uh, had picked that out, and but nothing was done. There's a lot of cases of this in active shooters and incidents and in other major incidents where people suspected, I should say, um, the signs were there, but they weren't able to articulate it to law enforcement with enough clarity that law enforcement was able to develop probable cause to intervene before a tragedy happened. So that's why this stuff is so important. You need to be able to articulate what is it that was just off about this individual or this encounter. And I can't play it because I've had issues with this, but you can, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually go and Google this. Avoid, deny, defend. That's the new uh, run, hide, fight uh, for schools in particular, active shooter events from Alert, the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training. Um, I usually play the first part of this, the first couple of minutes, so that you could see as this plays out, there were a lot of signs where somebody should have either acted against a shooter or recognized what was going on and took some action to deny them access to certain areas or to get out of or alert others to get out of a facility. So I urge you to go take a look at that. Um, I actually urge you to do this on a day-to-day basis. Uh, look at facilities that you're in, places that you go shop, places that you work, and play it through in your head. Maybe you do active shooter or active threat training at your workplace. Maybe you don't. But really play it, if nothing else, play it through in your head. What would I do if? Where would I go when? Uh, and I swear it really does make a difference. Those things, even if you don't act it out physically, uh, they do stick in your mind. You've war gamed it out in your head, if nothing else, and you're going to act based on what you've run through in your mind. But please, take a look at this if you can. Google it. I believe it's on YouTube. And I'd love to be able to do something like this in person is where it's best. Maybe doing it on a Zoom meeting might be helpful. If there is something you want for your organization, please reach out to me. Let me know, and we'll see what we can do. So what can we do? Okay, in these situations, call 911. Okay, when you do call 911, all right. Here's two things I want you to understand. If you call 911 and you get interrupted, set the phone down. Do not hang up. Okay. Most 911 services in the United States can track your location. Okay. All right. I'm not going to say most. Many of the larger metro areas and smaller areas can track your location even by cell phone. Okay. But if nothing else, you set the phone. If you get interrupted and you have to set the phone down and leave the line open so that the dispatchers can hear what is going on, what you're saying, what other people are saying, and the events that are happening, because that's critical information for the law enforcement officers who are going to be first responders on the scene. Okay. If it's not a 911 thing, you can call the non-emergency line here locally. This is what it is. Call the non-emergency line to explain it, what's going on, what your line of thinking is, and get some advice from them. And that's only if you don't need an immediate response. Run, hide, fight, avoid, deny, defend, whatever the situation dictates. I'll be first one to explain to say it. You might have to fight first. Don't be afraid of it. Training preparation that goes into the previous. Okay, there are a lot of things that you can do to train and to prepare. Okay, this is preparation. Hopefully, some of what uh, hopefully some of what you've learned with this and other similar left of bang concepts help you avoid a critical situation like this in the first place. There's a lot of great training and preparation for the after bang stuff. But see what you can get, whatever you can get before left of bang is going to be helpful. Crime Stoppers, almost everybody has a local Crime Stoppers. It's your method of getting information about crimes or potential crimes to your local law enforcement uh, before anonymously. You can get to them anonymously, hopefully before something happens. Again, Emergence Disrupt, Yousef Badou. He's got some great stuff on YouTube. Take a look at it. Stay engaged, okay? Maintain your situational awareness. Always be paying attention to what's going on around you. Look at people. You'll be surprised how many, if you go back to one of my earlier presentations, we talk about who's the apex predator on this planet, okay? Look at people. They're looking at this. Criminals are going to look at you just like a lion looks at a lamb, okay? If you look back at them, look them in the eyes, they're going to know that, okay, they're paying attention to me. That might not be the best target. Put your phone away. Don't, if you're out amongst other people, uh, put your phone away. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Uh, I've seen people run over crossing the street just because they would get their face out of their phone. Entrance and exits. Make a game of it. Make a game of it with your kids. Make a game of it with your coworkers. You know, pay attention. You go out to lunch. Uh, hey, none of this is going to make you Jason Bourne, but can you tell me what vehicle outside most likely got a gun in it? Can you tell me what kind of shoes that that waitress is wearing? Can you tell me where the exit is? Can you tell me X, Y, and Z? Make a game of it, and that's one great way to practice. Uh, when I talk about gray man, this is what allows you to blend in, not stick out like a sore thumb, so that others, especially bad people, can key on. Um, and really, this is really designed for cops in the first place who are doing surveillance. But the gray man, okay, don't wear things that stick out, that have big brand logos, that have things that are readily identifiable. Okay, literally gray. Gray blends into everything. Okay, put on or take off a hat, take your jacket off, turn your jacket inside out if you've got a two-way jacket, so on and so forth. Same thing with body language. If you're playing the gray man because uh, you don't want to stick out in a crowd, your body language, somebody who has a limp, somebody who I smoked for 30 years. I smoked the same kind of cigarettes. I lit up the same way. I had some habits. People are going to have habits that are going to betray them. Shoes, hey, that's the one thing that you can't really change on the fly that you're wearing, that and pants. So they're going to be, if they're distinctive, that's going to be an easy way to pick you out. And denial, don't deny. When your body, your subconscious starts telling you that something is wrong here, don't be the one who says, can't be, because that might just be the last thing that you ever say. Don't let don't let yourself get caught up with denying that, man, that can't happen here, because yeah, it can, and it does. So I think that is, oh, okay, last point I'm going to leave you with: intuition. It may be your subconscious, it may be training, it may be something that you heard 20 years ago, that is helping you connect the dots right now. It may just be flat out instinct that that's baked into your DNA as a human being. If if your spidey senses are going off, or whatever you call it, trust it. Do not ignore it. Okay. This is where you got to use the higher part of your brain to, you've learned this. Hopefully you practice this. Now verify it. Is this what I think it is, or is it not? It may only take seconds to verify or negate, but that's something that's going to give you seconds to respond and get off the X, get your family to safety, or to lock an area down, or to confront whatever this threat might be. So use your intuition. Use Absolutely trust your gut. And better yet, trust your gut and be able to explain it and articulate it to law enforcement, and hopefully be able to prevent a tragedy. Again, thank you for trusting in some nobody on the internet to be able to have sat through this far. Again, my name's Rob Santacero. This is obviously on YouTube. If you got my YouTube, you've probably seen my Twitter. I don't really do anything else anywhere else. I don't do, yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I don't, and Instagram, but I really don't do much of I don't do any of this there. If, if you think this has helped, if it's been helpful, if you think that I can assist you, if we can do a something larger, more a little more involved at some point, by all means, reach out to me. I hope this was helpful to at least a few people, and hopefully it will help you in the coming months. Uh, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there in the world, and let's keep each other safe, watch each other's backs. Okay. Thank you guys. God bless.